Let me say, one of the things I've realized since I left office is that I'm well known, but I'm not known well. Most people know me as that loyal vice president standing alongside the president.
It was Mike Pence last night at our NewsNation town hall. All right. Mike Pence said a lot, got picked up by newspapers around the world. But as somebody who's covered Mike Pence for a long time, his body language was different than normal. There was things he was trying to say, even if you were watching on mute. There were moments where he sat, stood, smiles, jokes, cocked his head. It all seemed as though he was trying to present a certain very clear image of himself. Body language expert Patti Wood is with us to help break that down. All right, so I want to start with you, Patti. This is Mike Pence reacting to a woman who has a transgender child. Take a listen.
What is your policy plan to protect the transgender community, specifically Black and brown trans women, from historically high levels of violence?
Well, Melissa, let me say I'm deeply grieved to hear about those tragic circumstances. And I hear your heart. And I'm moved by your emotion. I truly am.
Thoughts?
Well, good and bad. At the beginning, we have that deep, resonant voice of his that indicates strength and power. And there's that hint of emotional matching her grief. But what you missed is right after he finished saying that, he smirked. So he twisted his mouth. And what happens is if you are saying one thing but feeling another, your true emotional state will flash across the side of your face before the other side can control and suppress how you truly feel. So he discounted that seemingly great empathetic response with a smirk. And he did that over 7 times last night, which actually indicates there's a lot of things he's saying but not truly feeling.
All right, fair enough. And look, the American people or viewers may not necessarily know why they're picking up on a feeling of inauthenticity or a feeling of not sure about this, but you were able to identify this. This is when we were talking about his longtime marriage to Karen Pence and the rules and the ways in which he conducts himself. It's been well reported on. Take a listen. One of the things that has been said about how you conduct your personal life is you will not eat alone or meet alone with a woman. One of the hallmarks of your presidency, and one of the things that was reported on a lot, was your private lunches one-on-one with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. How would that work out if you had a female vice president?
Well, that's a very clever question. It really is.
I sort of took that as he was trying to buy time.
There's so many tells in this. First of all, he interlocks his fingers over his private parts because it's a sexual-oriented question. Then he tilts away. Then he does a suit adjustment that covers up his heart, again, his true emotional state he wants to protect. And finally, the corner of his mouth pulled down tightly, and he's actually suppressing anger. The reason I know it's anger is he tightens at the eyes and it has that crumbly bit at the chin as he responds.
I think that's probably a pretty fair assessment based on a few other things that I heard last night. Maybe. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.